Okay. Hey, Angela, can you hear me okay? Mm,
Yeah,
okay, perfect. Did it ask for a passcode when he came in?
no.
Okay, good.
So I was curious about what is the inner circle meeting?
So the inner circle, it's for people that have at least done one full games. So this it's an open formatted call where it's 10 a.m. every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and it's going to be more deeper into deeper detailed, I guess you would say, because the 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 pros, because a lot of people go through the games more than just once, and that's like awesome. But then you hear, especially towards the beginning, a lot of repeats of stuff. You know, not everyone that's gone through the games once needs to go over and hear all of the uh, stuff involved with like making your first with the first script, or as you're making your first phone call or whatever. They're kind of past that usually, hopefully. So yeah, we're able to get into more deeper analysis, getting deeper into negotiations. Um, so yeah, hope to answer that question. We're still figuring out what's gonna be the best way to help everyone that's in the inner circle. So it's gonna be fun. But yeah, phenomenal. Okay, all right, guys. Angela, I'm gonna make you a co-host if you could help me bring people on. Let's see, Bryce. Good, Bryce. Good to see you on again, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah, it's good to be back, man.
Yeah. You're in Stockton, aren't you? Isn't that where
Yes,
home
sir.
is? Yeah, yeah.
Still rocking it out here, middle of nowhere.
We're out in the state. You're more in the sticks than I am, I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, Stockton's good. Awesome. Okay, here's something.
I'm back. I'm back. Um, but I was not on social media for 4 years, so I probably have the least amount of it.
Got it.
But I mean, I
If
don't know. I have like 1,000 from years prior, but
Yeah. So if you were able to click your fingers and have 100,000 followers, 100,000 friends, whatever, just magically following you, do you think you'd be able to potentially find more deals if you were able to click your fingers and then had that many following?
I think so. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, I've already seen just in the posts that I started posting about
Mhm.
the lending stuff. I've already had people reaching out to me. So
Nice.
there's the potential out there. I know other people use it all the time. So
Yeah. The With Facebook specifically, like the cool thing about Facebook is the Facebook groups, and I've made thousands upon thousands. I probably need to sit down and figure out where the leads are coming from and see that so I can actually talk dollar amounts. But just on Facebook groups alone, the cool thing about Facebook groups is that you're able to get that reach and following as if they were your own, right? So if I had 100 followers and make a post, a lot of more people are going to potentially see it, right? So we're going to talk a little bit about that, what to do, even if it's not on, what kind of post, how often should you post, and how does this all work? So first up, I wanted to point out, make sure everyone to take a look at the classroom. I did a social media training, which we'll go over some of the same stuff here, but so it's recorded and so is this, but so you have it at the ready and it's kind of more, just straight to the point. Highly recommend checking that out. There's multiple stuff we talked about on there, but in social media, there are 3 different kind of posts. So, there's lots of different kind of posts, but there's 3 posts that we care about, and I want us to think about it as if it's like it's a pyramid. Okay, with the post, you'll have like engagement posts, and engagement posts. Here, let me actually give you guys a workbook, and you can even follow along, I guess, or let me put this in the chat. Ta-da. This workbook is also in the classroom as well for you guys to have, but there's that. And you can make a copy of it and then edit it, do whatever you want to do or whatever, right? So there's something I call engagement posts. So engagement posts are something to get the algorithms to, or getting people to respond and engage with your post. It can be nothing to do with real estate whatsoever. That's fine. But the thing is, like, so we have Zach with 1,000 followers, and if he makes a post, just because he has 1,000 followers / friends doesn't mean that all of his followers / friends are going to see his post. So we can have 300,000 followers and maybe the same amount of people that actually see my post could be the exact same as me with just hair under 7,000. So just because we have so many followers or friends doesn't mean that people are going to see so much. So Facebook cares about engagement, because if you're engaged in a post, you're more likely to stay on their platform. You're more likely to read more and to engage more if you're reading this type of post. So if Zach makes a post and it's no one's interacting with it, and so Facebook will show that post to a few people that has interacted with this post in the past, and if they don't engage with it, then they just don't show it to anyone else, and then it just dies. But if I have a post and where it's like it's engaging, people are commenting, they're liking, they're maybe even sharing, then Facebook's going to take that post and well, this is true for any platform. I'm going to talk mostly on Facebook because that's where I get most of my leads. That's where I get the most success. That's where I don't want to talk out of context. So, but all this stuff, most of the stuff's applicable for every other social media platform as well. So that's why it's important to have like posts that are like engaging, and it doesn't have to be very complicated to do something like this. So, for an example, let me share another document with you guys and some social media help. So this other document I shared are some ideas of an engaging post. So for example, as this is loading up and I'm sharing my screen, let me start off with a little story here. I was gonna mention this, but I forgot. But a good friend of mine, their parents lived like a block away from my parents, and we both grew up in the same church, the same neighborhood, went to the same schools together. His parents know me extremely well. My parents know him extremely well. Like we're best buddies from birth almost. Like that's just, I mean, pretty much we just connected instantly. And I found out, so after a couple of years after I was able to quit Walmart, I was doing real estate full time. his parent. So these people that know, like, and trust me, I found out they sold their house to another investor, and I was like, oh, I was kind of bummed out. Like, well, why didn't they talk to me? And then I started to investigate a little more and asked them, like, so what was? I'm just curious, what was the deal that you struck with this other investor? Did you? And they would tell me about it, and it was a really crappy deal for them, to be honest. Like, I would offer it at least 40 more thousand than what they accepted. Um, but they didn't reach out to me because they didn't know I was involved in real estate. They had no idea. So if someone does not know you're involved in real estate, it's your fault. Pure and simple. There are low hanging fruit on just waiting for someone, like they know someone that's looking to sell. They're looking to sell themselves. And when you're getting a phone call, say, "Hey, Jared, come by my house," versus doing the cold calling thing, those are two conversations way dramatically different. And so even doing a portion of what I'm going to tell you guys today is going to dramatically increase your lead pool, at first, and then some of the stuff that I'm going to talk about, it takes time for it to really steamroll and to pick up some momentum. Okay. And if you have any questions, just stop me, guys, because I go in tangents and sometimes they're not always linear. Um, but so the main interactive post that we're doing is our engaging post, however you want to call it, right? But it's just asking questions. That's a big chunk of it. Um, if you could be anywhere right now, would you rather have $100,000 in real estate or $1 million in Amazon gift cards? Stuff like that. What's your ideal date night? What's your superpower? If you had 20 minutes, or like this one, if you can give a 40-minute presentation with absolutely no preparation, and then followed by, what would that be? So you're getting people to answer questions. If it's a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? Contentious, even better. So one of I like to pit the sexes together. Like, who's the better cook, male or female? Who communicates better, male or female? And it gets kind of funny, the comments and stuff. So it doesn't have to do necessarily do with real estate, but you'll see the engagement spike dramatically, especially if you're doing this a couple times a week. And then once it spikes, then when you post your regular post about real estate or whatever, more people are going to see it. So the whole point of these type of posts is to just not necessarily trick, but we're showing Facebook, the algorithm, that we are producing engaging content to show it to more people. Okay, that's it. And it can be you can make it fun, whatever you can play with it. So there's all of these questions are just fine to throw out there. This, you can literally just copy and paste. What are you grateful for today? Whatever, right? And even if you're depending on, Facebook's interesting. So on the app and also like the website, there's different functionalities, but we'll see if we can. Oh, I can't schedule this post on here. So on my phone, I can schedule it, but here I can't. But you can also share these to groups too. Okay, so this is a cool thing too, right? Whether you're just posting in a group or whatnot, but this is stuff to get engaging posts in groups themselves, which we'll talk about that in a second. I don't know. Hopefully we'll have time to really dive into the groups quick, um, but you can sit down one afternoon, like on my phone, I can schedule a post. I can create all of the week's posts right then and there, and like in 10 minutes, and just by copying and pasting over some of these questions. That's it. Does anybody have any questions? There's more to it, but like I'm trying to go over like the basics of like social medias and getting engaging and getting people to start responding to you. And you can still have success without even doing any of this stuff, by the way. Like I'm just giving you guys the best option to get more eyes on your content. That's what this does. Okay. So this is like you should have more posts like this than any other type of post. Even though I'm sometimes really good at this, sometimes I'm not as consistent. That's okay. So you don't have to be like perfect. It's fine. So that's like the bulk of your post should be stuff like this, right? The next layer up is curiosity post. So whatever you're selling, because you're selling, like, I want to buy your house, that you're selling that idea, okay? Or I'm selling real estate education, or I'm selling, like, trying to get more people into the games, whatever it is, right? Curiosity post is not a selling post, but it's something to get people curious. And this is, so for example, I just learned is a beautiful statement. It's super, super effective, which is a great thing because you don't necessarily, let's say you haven't done a ton of deals. Like, so for example, we'll use example Boston. So you haven't done any deals yet, right? So posting about like, oh, I'm so excited about, I'm going to close this deal, whatever, but you're not there yet. But making a post like, I just learned how to sell a home without any closing cost, or that's so. Or I just learned how to get a cash offer on a home within 24 hours, no repairs needed. Like, that's it. Just put it there. Or I just learned how some homeowners avoid foreclosure while walking away with cash in hand. It's not asking a question. It's not, it's just, I just learned this. And it's someone that might be interested, like, oh, wait a minute. I know someone's going through foreclosure, or I'm going through foreclosure. I'm going to reach out to Zach. I'm going to reach out to Boston and ask him, or comment that, like, well, what do you mean? How do you do this? Tell me about it. And then you can take it to the DMs and then go from there, right? So I just learned how some families are downsizing, making 100K profit in process. So I just learned statements are phenomenal. Other curiosity posts is just, I'm shocked in how different ways there is to buy real estate without using your money. So that's kind of more of like if you're looking to sell, like education. I'm thrilled to, it's just you're excited, you're just make a statement. Now what I find people, they're trying to do curiosity post, what they do wrong is like, comment if you want to know more, or DM me if you want to, that's not a curiosity post, that's a sales post. When you're asking for something, when there's a call to action, that's not a curiosity post. Like, the curiosity post is something that they're going to naturally engage with. You're not asking for anything in return. You're just statement, period, done. That's that. You can do it in a picture form. You can do it in a reel. You can do whatever, however you want to do it. Right. This is like more of like a straight up like word post. So this is way people are gonna, you're selling stuff without actually selling. This is a great post to put in Facebook groups too, because people are gonna ask about it. They're gonna have questions about it. Phenomenal. Okay. Any questions so far? Like, we did talk about like 2 different types of posts and why we do them. But am I losing anybody? Is this, are we good? Yeah. Okay.
One
Yes.
thing, Jared,
Please.
since I'm kind of a noob at social media, and one of the reasons I kind of got off of it was just, I guess getting bombarded by stuff.
Sure.
What, I guess for people that are scared to use the social media,
Mhm.
or scared is probably the best word, or just reluctant. I
That's
don't know.
probably
Resistance.
accurate.
Literally
Yeah.
just resistance. It's like,
Sure.
not really scared. You're just resistant.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you get? I mean, one of the things I've been doing is just like, all right, this is for business, not pleasure. To kind of
Right.
get my mind frame right.
Mhm.
What do you recommend? I guess there, as far as
Yeah.
like kind of getting in that mindset, and then
Totally.
the other thing is, I obviously I've been told, like, don't judge it on how many views or likes you get. Just like keep going, and
Yes.
eventually it's going to start to take off. And can't get in that dopamine hit, I guess. But how do you feel about that?
Those are all great questions and comments. And I think that is, I'm glad you brought that up, because a lot of people have those same thoughts, or same challenges, right? As far as getting getting into the motion of doing this, I would say like put in your regular schedule, whether that's you're making it a regular event or whatever you do to manage your day. I would have a consistent time, kind of like sacred time, a consistent time where you're gonna do social media, and that could be once a week, and you're just making future posts, where you could just where it automatically sends if you're doing it like on the phone app, where it just sends it up, creates it, and then it's done. Or it's like every day at when I wake up, it's part of my coffee routine. I'm just gonna copy and paste one of these posts over, respond to some messages, and then that's that. So getting a direct time on when you're going to be doing it, because like we all know we should be doing something with social media, whether you are or not. We all know that that's a proven method to find some success, whether it's in sales or just in general, right? So just creating that time, that space, and doesn't have to be 15 minutes. That's it, like a day. So you don't need to come up with like some really crazy babies talking on podcast. You can go that far, and more power to you. But at first, definitely just start off with something simple like I'm just gonna ask this question. I'm doing an engaging post, and that's that. So having time in it, and then getting past the mindset, because people do get discouraged when their post doesn't get many views or likes or comments or whatever. Yeah, because like you nail on the head, there's no dopamine hit on that mindset. I want you to hear something that someone told me once that kind of flipped my whole perspective on views just in general. And I was telling my daughter this the other day because she's an artist. She has a TikTok account that she's trying to grow, and she was a little frustrated because she wasn't getting the growth that she was hoping for as fast as she was hoping for. She was like stuck at like 200 views per TikTok that she's making, and she's seeing that like her brother's like doing really good. Like he's running his own like thrifting business, and he has a social media account on it, and he's getting like million plus views on some of the stuff. So she sees the comparison, like, oh, I'm getting this 200, and he's getting like 100,000 to million views on his stuff. So for her, especially with her brother, like having that success, it's even harder. But when you're looking at perspective, let's just say as an artist, like I drew this picture, I made a post about it, and what if 200 people came into my house to look at my picture? You would be awestruck on like so many people came to look at the picture. This is amazing. So many people commented or that actually just spent time, looked at my posts, read it. This is amazing. So if 200 actual human beings walked in your house, looked at the picture, and then maybe they commented, maybe they didn't, but they looked at it and then left, you it'd be a completely different scenario. But when we're looking at our views or our likes, comments, whatnot, we're comparing it to the hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands views that other people may or may not be getting. So we're anchoring. That's what it comes down to, right? Like we talk about that in negotiating. We're anchoring against ourselves because we're looking at those 30 views or those 30 comments, and then comparing it to this person got 2,000 likes and follows, and you got stuck at 30. And so it's like, oh man, you feel bad. But when you put it into perspective, like if I had 30 people give me a high five randomly throughout my day, I'm like, this is the best day ever, you know? So yeah, as far as like getting over that, first understanding, like not comparing yourself to those million million views and those people that are getting success, or in your perspective, like just realizing where you're at, and that's where you want to be, because again, 200 people looking at an art picture I did, like that'd be when I don't do art, but using that example, like that'd be amazing. Or the little video I made of a baby talking, I think that's hilarious, and 30 people thought like that's awesome. That's really 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 cool. So switch the perspective and this lock in a time. I think it's going to cover most of those things. um I went a bit of a tangent, but that answer all those questions you had? I think because you did come over
Yeah.
quite a few. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Any other questions you guys have about what we talked about so far? Because we got more stuff, but I want to make sure I'm not losing anybody or this is just doesn't make any sense.
I'd like to hear maybe some stories of your successes, how this has worked for you.
Absolutely. Does anybody know Marjorie? So me and Marjorie met off of a social media post. From that I was marketing Renata. So I was trying to get people to buy some real estate education. And so we met on just me making a post, and it was a curiosity post on a Facebook group. So we weren't friends on Facebook. We didn't know each other beforehand, and that's how I met Marjorie. I mean, she got education, so there was some income there, but that's not where the cool thing is, right? So then we started this whole friendship just based off of that social media post. Josh and Aubrey, I made another post, and actually this one post that Josh and Aubrey, not Aubrey, and Autumn, Josh and Autumn Drake, they commented on a post when I was talking about my short-term rentals I was doing, and I attended an event. That was the post. Like I attended this event where I'm learning more about doing short-term rentals, and so they commented, and then they got signed up, and we were working on deals together. So yeah, that's definitely some real life stories. I've had people comment. Uh, there's been many properties that I've bought using social media because like whether they're commenting on like a post about what I'm doing. I got a friend that needs to help sell their house, or hey Jared, and one specific example. So I had a friend of mine. We worked at Walmart. We were actually both department managers years ago, and that's how we knew each other. And he was going through a tough time, and so he gave me a call, and he's like, "Hey Jared, I don't know if you can help me, but can you come take a look at this?" And we end up like structuring a deal, and as they help him out. Another friends of mine, Nick and Zach, they reached out because it may have not been one specific post, but it's just like being front of mind. So when they're thinking about selling real estate, or that they're any type of challenge of real estate, or if the first thought is me because I'm there, I'm front of mind. So there's, man, I can go on and on just from the social media on deals, and also just building relationships, funding, buyers. There's it's just pretty countless. I don't know if that's as detailed as you're hoping for, Angela, but yeah, those are some examples of how I've made money from social media. Not just from Facebook paying me, but just overall in general. Like Facebook has paid me only a couple thousand just from views and whatnot, but I made hundreds of thousands off of social media from one fashion or another, real estate, or they're buying the education or something along those lines. Um, okay, cool. Anything else? Or is there any particular we're asking? Because there's some more stuff we're going to talk about here, but yes. Um, so, so we have curiosity posts. All right. Those are just like, I just learned. I'm shocked to find out. You wouldn't believe this. Some of these are, I mean, I probably need to sift through some of these, but that's basically a curiosity post. Then I would say at least once a week. So if we're going over, oh wait, let me see. Oh, here it is. So I also give you guys a copy of this little workbook thing, or just a summary of what we're kind of talking about here. So engagement posts, 3 to 5 per week, and this is like the best outcome. If you're only doing like one a week, like it's better than nothing. So don't get so overwhelmed, like, oh, I gotta do all these posts, and this is what Jared's recommending. I don't think I have time for something like that. That's fine. Just turn this down to once a week then, or just start doing something. Doing one every 2 weeks is better than doing zero every month. You know, um, so just start by doing something, right? Okay. So engaging posts anywhere from 3 to 5 weeks. Those are just asking these questions, right? Who's the better cook, male or females? Done. Let it go crazy. Curiosity post. I just learned. I just found out how. Uh, Curiosity post is like, yeah, a friend of mine just closed on a deal. 21-year-old kid just closed on a deal where there was like a $97,000 wholesale fee. I'm not selling anything, but that's definitely a curiosity post. And whether you're involved in it, like, yeah, a friend of mine did do that. Like someone I met in the games, he just did that, closed on a $97,000 wholesale fee. And then leave it at that. And people are like, wait, what are you doing? How are you doing this? You can do success stories of other people. That counts as like curiosity post. Then there's another kind where I call harvest post. So this is like max once a week. This is more up in your face. Like, hey, for example, do you know anyone who needs to sell their home fast? We can close in days. If you need if you send me a deal, I'll pay you a $3,000 referral fee when it closes. So that could be, it's like a straight up in your face, like, do you need to sell your house? Do you know you're looking to sell? Here you go, done. Right? I'm looking for 3 people who want to get the first wholesale deal in the next 60 days, no experience needed, just DM me. I mean, that's something I would probably put, but you know what I mean? Things like that where it's just like a straight up, like, this is a sales call. Like this, I got something to sell, here it is. And I wouldn't do more than once a week. You can even do once every other week and probably just fine. But you're going to find lots of success if you're doing the engagement plus the curiosity coupled with a harvest post. And just think of it like a pyramid. Like you're going to do, the most is engaging posts, the second most is the curiosity, and then like the very tip is the harvest post. Does that make sense? Like the 3 different type of posts that I'm talking about, guys? Or am I speaking a different language?
Makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. All right. So getting these posts in, um, yeah, I think that's gonna, now let me talk to you about Facebook groups a little bit. Okay. So does anybody have any questions about these 3 type of posts, or how often we're supposed to do it? Or again, if I put recommendations on here, but you don't necessarily have to do that many, because you're looking at 1 or 2 posts a day doing it this amount. But it's an easy, if you just schedule the time in for it, like 5 minutes a day, really you can do most of the stuff. I don't remember. I was posting. Did I post something? Something there. What was it? Another example of a curiosity post is, where's, so last year I got the free Camaro, but I just put in there, last year some good friends of mine needed help getting into a deal. Where did I put it? Let me, oh, no, go away. Close. Okay. Here we go. And I got a Camaro as part of the deal. I call it my free car. I love real estate investing, helping people while making money. It's so much fun. I didn't say, hey, if you want to learn how to do it, hit me up. It was just like, this is my free car, and I got it through real estate. And this is from a memory a year ago, which is cool to have, right? So this is a perfect example of a curiosity post. This is more of like, because I'm looking for sellers and developers and whatnot. Definitely that is more of like a sales post, right? So I need, who are my developers? I got 3 acres in whatever. Acre deal in West Valley. Hit me up, right? Here's your successes or success of other people. Like, feel free to share them. So with now, let's say you don't have as many followers as you would like, for example, and you're not getting as much engagement. Talking about groups is a great way to find find some deals or find just getting engagement and getting, because like I said before, if you had a couple $100,000, couple 100,000, I wish, couple 100,000 followers slash friends, it'd be easier to market your services, right? So what I recommend is for everyone to just go into groups and do a search like Utah real estate, for example, or whatever state that you're in. I'm gonna put investing because then you get agents and whatnot. So, and I would, whatever area that you're doing it in, maybe it's just like I'm only gonna go into like Stockton and Tooele properties. That's all I'm
Can't
looking
see your
for.
screen anymore.
Oh, you can't see my screen anymore? Oh,
No, at least I can't.
is that true for everybody?
I can see it.
I can see it too.
If this has happened before, I think if it's
Hey, I'm just tripping then.
well, there should be some tabs. So I think there's like a tab, depending if it's on the computer or your phone. But there's gonna be like a tab where it's gonna be like you're just gonna see my
Oh,
face,
look at that.
and then the screen being shared.
There it is. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good. You're good. Because I'm sure other people have the similar challenges, so no worries. You want to join groups in the area that you want to be investing in. You can do general, but you're going to get general results if you're that. So I try to give you as specific as possible. So, and just join as much as you possibly can. So let's see, a real estate agent referral. I'm not so much interested in real estate. Utah home for sale. Sweet. There's 8,000 members and they're doing 10 posts a day. 10 plus posts a day. That's kind of where you want to be at least. Because look at this, guys, as an example, right? So we have 52,000 members that are doing 10 plus a day, while this 130 are just barely doing 10 posts a day. So even though like there's not, just because it has the numbers on there doesn't mean that it's a good group that's going to give you lots of results, So, or maybe it only has a couple thousand, doesn't mean it can't be a good result if there's engagement. So don't let the numbers trip you too much. But it's just something to kind of to think about, consider, right? So like, I got 40 friends already in this group, 42,000, 9 posts a day. Okay, that seems good. I'm gonna try that one, and then I'm gonna join. Not luxury, not for me. But anyways, you join as many as you possibly can, right? And switch this around. Could be classifieds are also good too, or depending on what you're looking for, it could be, I don't know. Just join as many as possibly can, right? Okay. So I'm going to join this one here. And then when you're, yeah, sure. I agree to it all. So once you start joining all of these groups, I would recommend to throw in, because you can make your same post that you're making. So the curiosity post, all of that stuff, you can create those type of posts. And eventually, without getting too deep in the weeds, when you're talking about Facebook groups, like you'll see like points. So for example, Lily Port does in this one, or Lily Scott, excuse me. She has 2,178 points, right? Because there's a lot of scammers that pop up, it's kind of nice to have badges and points and things like that, because it just shows that you're not just a fly by night person, if that makes sense. So I got, in the Renatus Team Elevate, I got 7,400 points, which is basically every time you post, you get some extra points and whatnot. I'm top contributor, so when I post stuff, I show up as top contributor, which means like it gives you credibility. And I tell you what, to get a top contributor badge on a really big group is easier than you think. There was one group where there was like it was a couple 100,000, and I made one post, and it was what was it? I think I was something along the lines of, and nothing to do with real estate either. I mean, the group was about real estate, but my post wasn't. It was like, if you had $1 million, if you won the lottery, what would you do with it? And I'd get hundreds of comments in there, And so by making one post, I became a top contributor in that group. So doing engaging posting groups, there's benefits doing so, even though I'm not getting any sales from that particular group, but I do get credibility almost instantly because of the badges and kind of how it works. I did like in one post. So in the post, you're gonna same stuff as we're talking about before, like as far as like social media goes, like for groups, I try to keep the questions engaging. That's usually something to do with the group. I'll do curiosity posts, the same posts we're doing like on our normal feed. You can throw in groups, and then once every 2 weeks or so, I'll do a harvest group or harvest post. And you may want to talk to the admin first, that's in the group before you do like a straight up harvest post, because maybe they're very anti self promotion, which is fine. That's when you just leave it with curiosity post, and people are going to comment like, "Oh, well, how you doing that? I want to get a $3,000 referral fee." Like, "Oh, well, yeah, sure. This is how that works." Does that make sense? So even if they get after you or they don't approve the post that you're doing, like if it's a harvest post, that's fine. Just stick with the gauging and curiosity post. You're still gonna have success on when you're hitting the groups. Any questions about like groups and how, or is this going over everyone's head, or
Jared, one thing that I had heard was that if you get a response and then you reply to your response, then it bumps it a little bit further because it's adding comments.
Yep. So
So that is accurate.
yes, 100%. So there's something I call farming, and this is something you want to do on your own post as well. So in groups, when you make a new post, it pops up right on top. So Brent made this post in this group. His post got right on top, unless he's an admin or whatever. So this is another, okay. So this post was made 2 days ago, and we're at the top of this, almost the very top of, because he probably pinned this post, right? But I'm at the top of this group because this post was made a day, or this comment was made a day. So anytime someone makes a comment, it puts it on top of the group. And even if they're not in the group, but on their feed, it'll show up. You guys ever had that post where like people are engaging and you see that same post on your feed multiple times? Well, this is why, because it's engaging and it keeps on throwing it out in front of people because people are liking it. So what I'll do, so for example, like on this one, I haven't even done any farming at all. So I have 9 comments on here, and I haven't been commenting at all, but we had 9 comments that stopped, and it slowed down. So what I'll do is I'll just go ahead. Helps if I spell things right. Sure. Okay. So I'll just start commenting this stuff. Uh-oh. But and on, if it's like 10, I'll probably comment on all of these. But and then the cool thing about doing something like this is that it shows, oh, people are getting engagement. People are liking this post again. So we'll start throwing up more people. So not only like by you responding to these posts later, it's gonna re-engage this post to more people, and more people are gonna comment on it. And then when things slow down, like as far as people commenting, then you can reply to the comments and it picks it up again. So you can farm one single post, especially if it's doing well, so that more, even like crazy amounts of people are seeing what you're posting out there. And it built credibility when people are commenting, liking, sharing, because it's all visible for the most part, right? So, you know, I would send Paul the information on the deal, and same with that, all that stuff. So yeah, when you start getting comments, I usually ignore them until I stop getting notifications, I'm getting comments, then I'll reply to them. And it's just farming, getting your posts on top of everyone's radar, again and again and again. So even this is a smaller group with 758, but it's a growing group. They're engaging. They're responding to it. So yeah, I like that. What other questions do you guys have about social media in general? One thing I would recommend and if you guys have questions, just chime in. Like, no worries there. Is just set a routine and here's the other thing. Sometimes you will get one of the people's fears is that they get a hater or someone that's gonna comment negative things, and it's not a matter if that happens, it's just a matter of when and how often. And don't be afraid of haters. I personally love haters. A hater is your biggest supporter on social media. So let's just say I make a silly little reel, and it's about okay, it's a comment, sweet, and look at that. So are you posting in your personal page or just on group pages, or both? How much in each? So I do a ton in my personal and in groups, right? So most of the stuff's gonna be on my personal page as far as social media goes, but those same posts are interchangeable for other platforms like Instagram and things like that. If it's a reel, you can throw it on TikTok. So you can take one content you create and put it over to the other platforms. In your experience, when you first started, how long did it take you to see results? Great question, Sal. So there are low-hanging fruit. So when I first started to post about real estate, I had people pop out of the woodwork and say they were interested in like learning how to do it, or that they might know someone that's looking to sell or something along those lines. There were some people that are already ready to go when I first started. Now with and then for me, like there was low hanging fruit, which is just like the instant, like yeah, actually I am looking to sell my property, or yeah, I want to learn how you're doing, or whatever it is, and then it tapers off, and this is where I find a lot of people get discouraged because like maybe they found a deal with doing a couple posts and like that was it, and like this is awesome, and then they keep on posting for the next 2.5 months and they got like nothing extra from it. Um, so as far as like getting consistent uh, deals or revenue from social media, it probably took me honestly like a year and maybe a year, but I was figuring things out on my own a lot. So I did a lot of stuff that just didn't help, if anything. So you can fast forward my year of struggling just by listening what I'm telling you, right? Um, so it does kind of depend. Everyone's gonna be different, but and even if it does take you a long time to build up a following where you're actually getting consistent leads and deals, if it takes you a year to do that, wouldn't you rather start now than do yourself a favor in a year and actually have consistent deal flow? Right. So if that's what's stopping you, yeah, exactly, right. So yeah, just it's definitely it's worth it. But you'll get that low hanging fruit like right away. Like you'll see some reaction from the get go, and even stuff as simple as like guys, I've Maylee does this really well where she makes everyone make a post like I joined the first flip challenge and I'm excited. Come join me on my journey. I guess you do the same thing as far as like even like the wholesale games. Like I'm doing this wholesale games where I'm helping people out of tough situations. I'm really excited about this whole thing. And like a simple post like that, like putting yourself out there that this is something that you're starting to do, or maybe you've done a bunch of deals, right? It's like you can start talking about some of the successes you have, or even just documenting what you're doing. That's huge. This is all curiosity post when it comes down to it, right? So if I'm doing it, let's say I've never done a deal ever, but I'm gonna go walk a property. Wouldn't it be fun if I just make a post about that where I'm like a selfie in front of the house I'm walking maybe take a picture of the kitchen and say, hey guys, I'm not sure if I'm going to buy this flip or not, or buy this property. If I did, what would you guys do with the kitchen? And just do a picture of the kitchen. This is a deal you haven't even done yet. And they may or may not even accept the offer. But and you're being upfront with, you're not saying like you're doing things that you're not, right? But like, this is a deal that I'm looking at. What would you guys do with this kitchen? And then it turns into like that engaging curiosity post, right? And so it's like, yeah, I got a house you can buy, and it's cool. So yeah. Can engagement post just be post about your family? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You can, whatever makes sense, right? Whatever you're comfortable sharing. Nate Lambert talks about, when he talks about social media, because he's really good at it too, but he doesn't do as many posts, right? But his posts are bangers, usually really good. So he'll do like it's I think it's 3 or 4 F's. So family, fun, finance, family, fun, and finance was basically business. So he'll post stuff about him just enjoying his time with his family, or enjoying whatever. They go on trips like all the time, or they'll post about their family, and then bringing real estate. Like every third post at least is about real estate, if not more. So you can definitely have all of those type of posts being, even if it's not about real estate, curiosity posts or all that stuff's totally fine. And like for an engaging post about your family, it's just like, it could be as simple as like, what do you guys do to, I don't know, punishment, but how do you guys, I don't know if you have a toddler, how do you guys get your toddlers to eat the full meal? So, like, that's an engaging post right there, right? That's relatable. More people will be more engaged with you. Like that's a good one. What other questions do we have about social media? We got like 5 minutes left. I hope that was helpful. And everyone needs to go through and start making some sort of post, like about I put in there in the chat about the documents, and also the workbook to help you guys out, and it's also in the back office with the social media.
Did you mention a specific time that you should be posting? Like, or did I miss it?
Yeah, I didn't, but you can. I don't think I'm sure there are like better times to post. I just don't think about that too much.
Okay.
So I mean, I probably should, to be honest. But I don't know. It's just like I post it when I think about it, or when I, that's just on the John. I made it take me a minute to post. I was like, I'm right there looking at the phone anyways. Might as well make something instead of. And here's the thing, guys. Sometimes it's easy to be in the doom scrolling, right? We jump in social media to make a post about real estate, and then next thing we know, 2 hours passed and we haven't made any post, and we just been rolling through reels for the past 2 hours, right? So become a content creator, not a content consumer, or time and place. Like if you want to content consume later in the evening, but you're making your post in the day, that's cool too. Whatever makes sense. But as far as best times to post, just I find it sometime in the day. I mean, I'm sure you probably can Google and they'll give you different answers, but yeah, I wouldn't think too much or worry too much about that, to be honest. But what other thoughts or questions you guys have on this? And also did more. There's another training on like groups in general, like that are also in the social media classroom. But yeah, as far as homework guys, just perfect. Just make sure to let's make your first post and about the games, or about what you're doing, what your goals are, something like let's just go ahead and create something, right? Where you're, even as a copy and paste and asking a question like, who's the best, if you won $1 million, what would you do with it? so simple. It doesn't have to be complex. It doesn't have to be like wordy. Like, simpler the better. But yeah, I love it. Okay. Awesome, guys. Well, I appreciate y'all. Let's get out there, get some deals off of social media. It's freaking amazing. It's just the right. It's right for the picking. Okay. All right, guys. Appreciate y'all. Love you.
Thanks,
Talk
sir.
to ya.